Personal computers are being welcomed in schools and in businesses and in homes without any mention of invasion of privacy. In fact, assembly lines are literally grinding them out, attempting to keep up with demand. Personal computers have become popular because of their size and their cost. They are compact because their tiny memory banks are made out of even tinier microchips. A basic unit can be had for as little as $1,500. Schools use the computers not only to teach children, but to teach them about computers. Educators at this junior high school say students are going out into a computer world and should know something about it. Small businesses have latched on to the personal computer boom, using the devices to map out financial plans and to print memos and letters, all at the touch of a button.
Please confirm.
Thanks for the presentation. So, since the tech is currency agnostic, what would be the incentive to choose XRP over fiat or any other cryptocurrency?
So this is where I'd almost love to ask my colleague up on stage, because we have our team who's actually trying to integrate with these different digital assets and different payment systems, and it's just like a many orders of magnitude of difference between XRP and, let's say, Bitcoin, and still several orders of magnitude between XRP and something like Litecoin, which is known as a more efficient sort of asset, and it's just a pleasure to work with, and part of it is it's been designed for that, right? Like, it's been designed to be used as the settlement asset in Interledger, and it's been designed for that, right? Like, it's been designed to be used as the settlement asset in Interledger, and so it has a lot of functionality like payment channels built in a certain way that are incredibly efficient for this particular use case, and so I think the main answer is right now it's just the best thing to use. Like, we talk to people, hey, let's set up a connector. Well, what do we peer with? Well, we could use Litecoin, or we could use XRP, but XRP will just be cheaper. So let's use XRP. And so I think as much, to the extent that these connectors are going to be competing with each other and they're trying to think about their margins, XRP is just going to look like a very good option for them.
We gave a presentation at Apple, and they called it the Amazon Prime for the whole internet. So there's the other, catchy way to put it.
Next. Too easy. No, don't. No. Yes. 50 please. Fuck. No. Fuck you. Shit, let's go fucking away.
You built Xcurrent, right, as a messaging product?
Correct.
And a lot of people seem to think it's superior to Swift. And you almost have this successful enterprise software business on your hands. And good for you, but it seems Ripple wants to do something more, which is to encourage the users of this to also wrap some XRPs into the transactions. But it sort of seems like you're shoehorning something in there that a lot of banks are like, wait a minute, we don't need this. We're just good with the messaging thing. So make the case for us why you need XRP in this.
I would just start out by saying I think that is a fair point. I think we do have a struggle on our hands to convince particularly banks, because banks are extremely conservative, they're very slow moving. What we've discovered is that non-bank financial institutions, payment companies are much more aggressive, and they're much more interested in things that can save them time and money and cost. And so we built the XRapid product as a way to kind of solve that problem. And it was adapted to the real-life situation that we were facing. We kind of had this idea that institutions would hold XRP or a digital asset, they'd make their payments with a digital asset, or regional hubs would settle with a digital asset. And for a variety of reasons, the world wasn't quite ready for that, including regulatory issues, lack of liquidity, immature ecosystem around digital assets. And so we couldn't aim directly for sort of the end state that we wanted. We had to come up with a more practical plan. XRapid is aimed at two things. So one of them is sort of remittance-type international flows, where cost is very high, And the volatility actually favors a digital asset, which is kind of bizarre. Usually people say the problem with digital assets is they have such volatility. But here, if you think about trying to pre-fund Mexican pesos on a Thursday to make payments on a Monday, that's a lot of volatility in Mexican pesos. Whereas if you can use XRP, which can move across the planet in just a couple of seconds, the volatility is actually less. Even though XRP is inherently more volatile, you're only holding it for the minute or two it takes to complete the transaction. And I think the other thing that XRapid handles is you might have a bank that doesn't want to touch a digital asset. They're like, we can't have XRP on our books, we can't buy it, we can't sell it, it's just too much of a regulatory challenge for us. But let's say they want to make a payment into Mexico, and they don't want to have to pre-fund, and they don't want to have to get confirmation 3 days later. What they can do is they can have an XRapid customer that probably won't be a bank. It'll be a payment company or some other type of institution that uses a digital asset to buy the Mexican pesos as an internal treasury function and then offers those Mexican pesos to the bank. So it's a workaround to the limitations that we found that we think is adapted to to the situation that we're in today.
Quick. Thank you. Return. 3, 2, 1, go. Come on.